Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right there. Right here. Whenever we're ready? Okay. Good morning, Acting Commissioner Cheryl Clapper. A little before 2 a.m. This date there was an incident in the area of the Aquarius nightclub, State and Benton Street. Arrested is a Mr. Kenneth Jose Hernandez, 25 years of age, from Springfield. Kenneth is charged with 2 counts of assault with intent to murder with a firearm, discharging a firearm within 500 feet of a building, carrying a firearm without a license, 3 counts of malicious damage to a motor vehicle, and 1 count of an assault with a dangerous weapon, a firearm. 2 officers, Springfield officers, were working the Aquarius nightclub detail last night, and about 10 of 2, their attention was drawn by the club managers to a disturbance outside across the street. Both my officers went outside to the area of State and Benton, the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot, where they observed a man bleeding from the head from an assault by means of a bottle. One of the officers heard a woman in Spanish yelling to the man, "What are you getting? What are you getting?" This man, who was later identified as Kenneth Hernandez, walks to a vehicle and comes out with his hands behind his back. My officers yelled to Mr. Hernandez, "Show your hands, show your hands," at which time he produces a .22 caliber firearm and fires at the officers. He struck one of my officers twice in the left arm, once a graze to the forearm and once to the left elbow. This officer is still currently at the Bay State. He's expected to recover, but he has been admitted. The second officer took cover behind a vehicle in the parking lot, and not only was this person shooting towards the direction of the officers, but gunfire was coming from behind the officers. Assistance was called, and a cruiser came and picked up my injured officer, immediately taking him to Bay State. More cruisers responded, and we tried to cordon off the area, and a search was performed for the shooting suspect. He ran behind the Dunkin' Donuts area and was later tracked and arrested on Colonial Avenue. We did recover the firearm used in this incident. It was in the trash receptacle behind the Dunkin' Donuts. It is a very fluid and active investigation. The crime scene people are still in the area, State and Benton. 3 different caliber rounds were recovered, so it was quite the gunfight that the officers found themselves in the middle of, and thank God my officer that's injured will recover, and the other officer was not struck. There was one other victim to the gunfire. He was driven by a private vehicle to the Bay State. He was treated and released. There was 2 grazed wounds to him. He has cooperated with the Springfield Police Department. We know his identity. There were other witnesses that have come in and given statements to the officers of the Major Crimes Unit. As I said, it's a fluid and active investigation. It was a dangerous situation with bullets flying over that parking lot and towards the club and towards Benton Street. We have made the arrest, and we do have the weapon used that struck the officer. There is a lookout for another vehicle currently, and the investigation is ongoing. So at this point in time, I'll let Mayor Sarno and I did respond to the Bay State. We have checked on Officer Irizarry. We have spoken to his family, and I want to thank the mayor for his support, and he responded immediately this morning.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. I want to thank Commissioner Clapper and again our brave and dedicated women and men in blue. This shows the rigors and dangers that our police officers face day in and day out, being put in dangerous situations. I was called very early this morning in contact with Commissioner Clapper to my Chief of Staff, Tom Ash. We subsequently have seen the officer. He is in good spirits and with family members and other police down there, and we are wishing him good health speedy recovery, and encouragement. I've also directed earlier this morning, as we do with protocol, that my licensing director, Alicia Days, will request a hearing pertaining to the Aquarius Club to see what had occurred or did not occur there. And also the individual who was arrested is once again familiar to Springfield police. You will see in his record that there's been prior arrests on weapons charges, but yet our court system allows these individuals to walk our streets. You have to know that the officer, in responding to this disturbance across the street at Dunkin' Donuts, again requested loud and clear to show me your hands. Show me your hands. Well, I can't say what I want to say because we're on media. That individual showed him his hands with a weapon, shooting at that officer with the intent to murder and kill. And the officer was able to return fire. An arrest has been made. The weapon has been found. As Commissioner Clapper alluded to, this is a very active investigation. But Godspeed to all our brave and dedicated men and women in blue. And we're hopeful for a full recovery. But this was a very traumatic experience, not only for the officers affected, but everybody that wears the badge and blue, and their family members who want their officer, he or she, to come home safe and sound. So an arrest has been made. The gun has been found. This individual is known to the police department, has been arrested on past weapon charges, but yet the courts allow him to walk the streets. As far as the disturbance at the club, as proper protocol ordered earlier this morning, my licensing director, Alicia Days, to call a proper hearing on that. So we move forward, and the police continue to work hard to keep us safe and sound. It's just unfortunate that there is this show of disrespect that is shown to anyone in their right mind that would want to hurt or maim anyone, let alone a police officer. So that's where we stand. Commissioner Clapper and I wanted to make sure that you received a proper update. It is a fluid investigation, and any questions, the commissioner is here. Thank you very much.
Question about the officer. How long has he been in the department, and does he have any family members or kids?
We'll get that information.
Yeah, he's been with the department for quite a while, because when I was captain of Midnights, this officer worked for me. So he's going to be a 20-plus year officer, and the officer he was also with is a 20-plus year veteran officer. They were working an extra detail at the Aquarius, and yes, they both have families that were very concerned.
And I know we've talked time and time again about repeat offenders here in the city. Mayor, maybe you wanted to comment on that?
Well, yeah, when we were, all the information was brought up, this individual is well known to the police department. And, it just boggles my mind, some of the serious charges that this individual has perpetrated just recently, in the recent past. And that goes on my continued or clarion call on bail reform legislation to keep these people off the streets, and Governor Baker's dangerousness legislation. You look at some of the charges that this individual has perpetrated. Again, one of them, there's numerous, but one of them was, loaded firearm and some other things that you shake your head saying, why is this person even on the street to begin with? But I think, and the commissioner is always very measured, to have someone, an officer, give you an order, show me your hands, show me your hands, show me your hands, and you show your hands, like this and start shooting at that officer. So this is what our police officers, the dangerous situations they face. But again, first and foremost, we were down at Bay State Medical, and we appreciate they do a fantastic job down there. We were down there very early this morning. It's been a long day, night, and morning for Commissioner Clapprood. He's in good spirits. Obviously, his family's very, very concerned. An arrest has been made. The gun has been found. And it is a fluid investigation as we go on from there. Yeah, so, I mean, here's another perfect example of why this bail reform legislation, stronger bail requirements for repeat violent offenders needs to be put in effect, and or Governor Baker's dangerousness legislation, which I think will be very, very effective in keeping, again, these repeat violent offenders off our streets.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
You said you were searching, are you searching for other suspects?
There's some lookouts still out there, yes, ma'am.
Can you say how many people you have?
We don't.
Okay.
It's changing as they're still taking statements from witnesses.
Okay. And you're also looking for a card. Do you want to describe the card at all?
There's some discrepancy with that too, so I'll let the major crimes get they still have some witnesses to interview.
Okay. So do you expect further arrests in this?
There could be, yes, ma'am. Yeah, we're also waiting for some video, so we'll see what that shows us.
And there's surveillance cameras outside of Dunkin' Donuts. You guys are looking into that?
We're trying. We've contacted the manager, and it's a new system, so hopefully it provides something very fruitful for us. But the owner is in Florida, so we're working on that. I'm sure we'll have that maybe later today.
And as far as the officers, especially the second officer, who's the first officer's hospital, is he on some type of leave, or
Yes.
what type of protocol?
I placed him on administrative leave with pay,
Okay.
and we're in the process of setting up an after-incident debriefing to make sure that it will include the officer that was injured and the officer also that was not, but he is on leave with pay.
I know you said you were going to be talking to the nightclub as well as to what happened. Will you be getting video from them? I know the incident happened outside where the smashed bottle was over the head.
Yes.
Maybe security saw something inside as well that led to that?
Yeah, they're going to be talking to them, see what they have, if they have inside or outside video, and there's other businesses too that we're in contact with that might have some helpful video.
Okay?
Thank you guys.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much. Have a
much.
good Sunday.
One other thing on the Aquarius nightclub is have they had past violations?
Not for a while. So, again, let me just clarify. Proper protocol in all these cases is I always request through my licensing director, Attorney Alicia Days, to call a hearing. The biggest thing with any type of these establishments is cooperation. And that seems to have been in effect here. We want to see what occurred, what caused this to occur. Obviously, they're the only place open at that time. So we want to get all sides of the story because this did erupt into a gun battle directly across the street. This did erupt into one of our brave and dedicated police officers being shot and hospitalized. And so we'll request a proper hearing on that and review their situation, review their security procedures. 2 extra duty officers, per my past orders with such club or other clubs, were on duty. They were alerted to that there was a disturbance occurring. I think it had emanated beginning from the club, but a disturbance was occurring directly across the street. And they responded as courageously as they usually do. And at that time, the officers took fire. Makes for a very dangerous situation. So, as Commissioner Clapprood indicated, it is the investigation is evolving, but direct arrest has been made, a weapon has been found, and we'll find out what did occur, what did not occur as pertaining to the club and/or any type of clientele and/or any type of security procedures going from there. But not recently. Not recently am I aware. Some years ago, I think under past ownership or past management, I did have issues there where I had to, I believe we had to shut them down or I had to have some type of sanction. But let's see, let's get all the facts on the table. But that's regular protocol. Any instances that occur in any type of establishments, I do request whether an informational hearing and/or a licensing hearing to find out exactly what not. And that coincides, but does not usurp Commissioner Clapper and her and the department's investigation, which is ongoing and started already.
You also mentioned there were 3 different types of calibers. I assume that's from the 2 officers and the suspect, or are there more shooters?
There's another caliber involved that is not police or our shooter. So it was definitely a gunfight that the officers were in the middle of.
It just boggles my mind how individuals can act this way to any other human being, and especially a police officer. And remember that again, very dramatic. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. He showed the hands.
This is
Firing.
another time where body cams are sort of essential, could be in this investigation.
Could be. Again, with the body cam, you know, with the officers' movement and they're trying to take shelter, you know, it would definitely, the video and with the audio would probably definitely help us here. So yeah, it would definitely help. But I think you're going to see video end up helping us anyway. It's going to come from other sources.
And you plan on talking to Dunkin' Donuts today, you said?
Well,
Yeah, they've talked.
They've already done, yeah.
Yeah, we've spoken with the manager, and it's just a question of getting the owner and getting inside.
There's also other video capabilities in the areas too. And again, the individual is known to the police department, a violent repeat offender.
So just to clarify, there are at least 4 people shooting, 2 suspects and the 2 officers.
One officer fired, one
Oh,
officer
only one.
did not.
Okay.
But there are definitely other people shooting, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Anything else?
Thank you, all set, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for reading.
Yeah, I just want to
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up and
Okay.
let him run around.
Get out of here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Doc. Thank you. Thank you. Ryan, thank you. See you, Ryan.
I'll be right back out.